Hey guys, and welcome to an Aspie's Point of View, where I give you my opinion on stuff. I want to preface this video by saying that there will probably be tears. And tears are okay because they mean that you're processing your feelings and you're feeling your feelings, as opposed to pushing them down and not allowing them to bubble to the surface. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. Today is the 5-year anniversary of the death of an amazing, amazing woman named Carol Lucas. And Carol was who I would consider to be a second mom to me. I called her my New York mommy, and I want to share her with you. So, Carol started out as my mom's really good friend from work. They didn't work in the same office. In fact, my mom worked in Massachusetts and Carol worked in New York. But they became very close, the best of friends. And it is thanks to this friendship that I got to have Carol in my life. I got accepted to college in New York, and with my health issues compounded with my emotional issues, it was a very scary thing for my mom to think about sending me off to college without someone around. And she told me that Carol was going to be my go-to person whenever I needed something. And I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't believe her because I couldn't figure out why someone would want to take that on. I couldn't figure out why I mattered so much that someone would treat me as if I were their own daughter and would care for me and love me and be there with me to make me laugh and be there with me when I wanted to cry, and just I didn't feel like anyone would want to take me on. And so I was very skeptical. And the first time that I remember really meeting Carol, I had seen her in passing, if my mom went to go meet her somewhere, and I was in the car or something, but I hadn't really met her until I went up for my first week at school. And my mom came with me, and we made plans to meet up with Carol at one of my favorite restaurants. And I remember telling them both when we walked in the door that there was a cap on talk about work, that they could only talk about work for a half hour, because I didn't want to be sitting there listening to them talk about work all day. And I needn't have worried because they didn't talk about work once. It was about me. It was about them and their friendship and what had happened since the last time they'd seen each other. But more than anything, it was easy. And it's never easy for me to meet someone new. It's never easy for me to trust someone. And it was so easy. By the end of that one meal, I felt like there was someone that I could rely on and someone that I could depend on. And I didn't expect what I got. I expected significantly less than what I got. but I was very lucky to get what I got. Shortly after starting school, I was sent to the hospital by ambulance, and my parents were 4.5 hours away. Carol is the only person I know who can beat an ambulance to the hospital. And we had sirens going and everything, but she didn't want me to get to the hospital and be alone. And so she raced an ambulance and she won. And when the ambulance unloaded me and I saw her standing there, I felt so many things wash over me. I felt shock because, like I said, I never expected anyone would actually want to take me on. I felt appreciation. I felt love. I felt so many things. And I was so grateful to have her there. It was a very difficult hospitalization. And I will be perfectly honest, through some of the tests, I really didn't want to do them. And Carol just took my hand and said it would all be okay, and it was. And even though she had to be at work the next morning, my mom and granddad, they got in the car and started driving as soon as they found out I was going to the hospital. But they got stuck in traffic, and they didn't get there until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And Carol was still there with me when they got there, even though she had to be at work in only a few hours. After that first hospitalization, I knew that I really could count on her, that she wasn't just doing this as a favor to my mom, she cared about me. And throughout my 4 years on Long Island, we would go out to eat together. We would go shopping together. Several times we ended up in the hospital, including one time when I hurt my foot in the middle of New York City and called her and said, I need you to meet me at the train station because I refused medical attention. I didn't want to go to Bellevue, and so I need you to pick me up and drive me to the hospital when my train gets here. And she was always there for me. And she was also one of the strongest, most amazing women that I ever had the pleasure of meeting. And when I found out that Carol had cancer, I just assumed that because she was so strong, that she would beat it. I didn't think that God would want me to lose someone who was so amazing. I didn't think that God would want the world to lose someone who was so amazing. But no one can fight forever. And she fought really hard. And in the end, it wasn't meant to be. And the last time I saw her, I had gone to her home in upstate New York, and my mom and I had gone. And when we got there, I was acting the typical millennial, I guess you could say, although I don't fit into that age category. My cell phone didn't have service. I didn't have internet access. I felt like I was out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere, and I posted something on Facebook along the lines of, please come and rescue me. And I would give anything to go back to that moment and relive it forever. Carol had more energy that weekend than I did, and she was undergoing cancer treatments. She always had a smile on her face, at least when I was around. She was the same her that she always was. She was joking and laughing, taking care of everyone. The woman made a full meal, went out, bought all the ingredients from scratch, made an apple pie, sat us down at the dining room table and had me roll silverware into cloth napkins. I will never forget, I was making fun of her at how fancy she was being, and it was an amazing, amazing weekend. And there was this stuffed bear, and by stuffed bear I don't mean stuffed animal stuffed bear, I mean stuffed bear, because this was a hunting cabin after all. And they wanted to prank me. They wanted to put the bear either in the closet of the room that I was sleeping in or outside of the door of the room that I was sleeping in. And had they done that, I probably would be having a different reaction to this video right now, because I would still want to kill both of them. But the fact that she was joking around like that, that she was so full of life, it's a great way to be able to remember her. I had a dream the other night, and I was talking to her, and I asked her, I said, why didn't you tell us that you had gotten so bad? And she said, you didn't need to know. And I said, why didn't we find out until you were in hospice that you were dying? And she said, you didn't need to know. And I said, why didn't you hold on until I got home so that I could say goodbye? And I thought she was gonna say something else, something different than she did. But what she said to me was, she didn't want me to see her, because she didn't want my last memory of her to be sad. And I know this was a dream and dreams aren't real, but this conversation was real to me. It was real to me, and it was my way of making peace with why I didn't get to say goodbye. And she was always thinking about other people. Always. There were times that she would be really sick, but she would be text messaging my mom asking how I was. There was a conversation back and forth between Carol and my mom on text message, and they were discussing which one of them was stronger. My mom said, I wish I could be as strong as you, and Carol's response was, are you kidding? You already are. And she always thought about everyone else. She worked up until she couldn't work anymore, and she was gone within a few weeks after that. It was the way she wanted to do it. She wanted to be normal as long as she could, and then go out of the world while making sure that she took care of each of us. She stayed long enough for my mom to say goodbye, but she knew that it would upset me to see her that way. And so she let go before I could get there. tomorrow is going to be the first time since she passed that I won't be working at the place where I found out that she died. I got a phone call, and I remember exactly where I was standing, exactly what I was doing. And my mom's words were, "Is your boss there?" And I knew something was wrong. I knew she was gone, and I just broke down. And I had to pass that spot every day for the next 4 years. And it was really hard on the anniversary of her passing. Because instead of remembering the good, I was remembering the moment I found out she was gone. And I don't want to remember that because she didn't want me to. What I want to say is, if someone comes into your life who is that special, who treats you special, who treats you like you're their own daughter even though you're not, hold on to them tight and never let them go. I strive every day to be a person who makes my family proud. And one of the people that I really always hope I'm making proud is Carol. My Carol. And while I can't fully explain the extent of our relationship or how amazing she was because there's just not words for it, I hope that being able to share just a little bit of her, just a little bit, helps some people to know how amazing she was. And to know that I had someone who cared about me and made sure that I was always okay. So, Carol, I love you, and I miss you, and I wish you were still here, but I am so lucky to have had you for as long as I did. And Mommy, thank you for introducing her to me. Thank you for bringing her into my life, because she made my life so much better. She was just another person who showed me love and compassion and strength and all the things that I needed and all the things that I aspire to be. Until next time, this has been an Aspie's point of view. Again, I'm sorry for the tears. I promise the next video won't be so cryy. Good night, guys.